everybody, this is Shannon with Shannon's Kitchen, and I just wanted to come to you tonight, and we're making some homemade herbal chili. Now, the difference between my chili and you know, I guess the way that people make chili is we don't put chili sauce in this chili. It's not a hot chili. It's a very delicious, fresh, clean tasting chili, but it's very hearty at the same time. We are using fresh ingredients from our produce section. I have Italian parsley, oregano, like real oregano, and then I have cilantro that we're going to be putting in here. And we're also going to be clipping some from our green onions that we started growing last Tuesday. And not this past Tuesday, but the Tuesday before. Because remember, for a whole week I wasn't on here because I've been with my husband at the hospital. And he's home now and he's better. And so it's Friday night, September the 30th. And we're going to be watching the new Hocus Pocus movie on Disney Plus. So we're going to be sitting down. It's probably going to be pretty chilly here tonight. So I thought that a good, nice, hearty bowl of chili would do right for our movie night. But anyhow, so what I'm trying to do is I'm going to be reducing this hamburger meat in this pot, and this is where our chili's going to be in. So, one second, I'm going to get me a spoon. Or a wooden bamboo spatula. Bamboo. Alright, I'm going to turn this down a little bit and put it on, you know, medium high. Just to get a little bit of a, you know, a sizzle going. But we're going to be cooking with these beans tonight. These are called red kidney beans. See? And Goya makes them. And when you look at the ingredients, it says, well, if I can find it, red kidney beans. It says it right here in the ingredients. Oops. You can see that. It says red kidney beans as the ingredient. There's nothing else added. It's just kidney beans. And I have me another pot over here to the left that I'm going to be boiling these beans in, just to get them a little soft. And then I'm going to drain them and add them to everything in here. So I'm going to go ahead and add these red kidney beans into the water while it's getting hot. And then I have Central American red beans by Goya. And if you look at the ingredients on this bag, it says the same thing. Central American red beans on it. Okay? There's 140 calories in the entire bag. So far that's 280 calories worth of beans. So we're going to add those. And these are a little bit smaller than the red kidney beans I just added. So we're going to put this aside. But Goya makes these. You can get these in your supermarket. Okay. And yes, they're in the middle of the supermarket. But, you know, you can't find, you know, red beans or anything of this sort like that on the outside of the supermarket like we were talking about, which is usually where I try to shop. You know, if you want cereal and stuff like that, then of course you have to go on the inside of the store where all the processed food is. But, you know, face off that. We're going to go ahead and brown this meat down really well. And I'm going to go ahead and, there's some heat coming off of those beans. But I'm going to get me a spoon so I can stir those. And we're just stirring them up. There's pretty colors in there. One is much deeper red than the other, and one is bigger than the other. But I've got them in about 2 cups of water boiling right now. Well, they're not really in a boiling. They're not really boiling right now, but they are hot. I can't stick my finger in there if you're wondering. But I'm just going to go ahead and... Thank you. Oh, well, thank you. But anyhow, we're just going to brown this ground beef.
You okay?
Right now. And I'm not going to drain this. Okay? And a lot of people are like, why aren't you draining? Because it adds to the flavor. Yeah, I mean, if you get your, 90 or 80-20 meat, then there shouldn't be a whole lot of fat, and it just adds to the flavor. But no, when I cook my chili, I don't drain the meat. Okay? I just think it adds to the flavor and makes it better. But I've had, lots of people eat my chili and then they're like, this doesn't taste like your regular chili, but this is really good. Well, it's because it's going to have fresh ingredients, and I'm about to pull those out of the fridge now.
Meteorological hazards always present a challenging set of variables. It is the totality of the
This is your fresh Italian parsley. This is your fresh oregano. See? Did it say it? Oregano. I don't know. It might be backwards. I don't know. But this is oregano. And then this is your fresh cilantro. I use a lot of cilantro in, like my fish, chicken, stuff like that. It gives a very fresh, tangy taste. A lot of people use this in their salsa too, like if they're making homemade salsa. Like when you go to Italian restaurant, that little green stuff you see, if you order salsa, that's what that is. Cilantro. Let's see if I can find it. Cilantro. I don't know if you can see it on that, but that's what it says. Alright, so we're laying those out, and I'm fixing to go get our green onions that we've been growing over here by the window. Remember I told you they wouldn't be uniform. Looks like a spider plant. But these are the ones that we did not last Tuesday, this past Tuesday, but the Tuesday before that. Remember we just cut off about from here down and stuck it in water. And see how far these have grown? And we did it right there in front of the window in our kitchen. Here's that one's long. But yeah, they're not exactly beautiful and uniform, but they're fresh green onions, and I'm going to use all these in my chili tonight. And see how long they've got. And that was the one that didn't have a root. Let's see. Here's another one. Here's one that I guess broke off. But we're going to use all of these, and we're going to trim them again about this length, and then we're going to stick them back in this cup. But right now we're going to do away with this water because it's dirty. Alright, now we put some more water in our onion cup, and we're going to stick it aside here. But right now, I'm going to come over here and focus on getting this meat brown. Alright, and I'm going to add some Italian olive oil. This is Pompeian first cold pressed extra virgin olive oil, and it is robust, and it's for salads and marinades. So I'm going to use this in my chili, okay? And I'm going to use it right now to flavor and season my beans. I'm going to go ahead and pour some in there. I want to say about 1/3 of a cup. I'm going to let it sit. I'm not going to stir it just yet, okay? Now, yes, we are going to put these tomatoes in our chili as well. And a whole can of whole tomatoes and a mixture of chili beans with pinto beans. And we're just going to use it mainly for the sauce that's in there because I like the way it tastes. And we're going to add a stick of butter in there. And let's see here. Basil, which I couldn't find any. I never can find basil at a grocery store. Basil, or bay leaves. So we're going to put basil in there and some paprika. Paprika is what adds to the smokiness of your chili. And then, of course, we're going to put some of this chili powder in there. So this is cooking up right nicely, and we've got some fat coming up to the surface that we can use for our sauce. A lot of people like to use those Hormel cans of chili. To me, that's only good on one thing: chili cheese dogs, and that's it. Don't put it in your chili because, and people think, well, they use the kind with the beans in it. That I use that in my chili. Well, that's good for you, but as for me and my family, we like to use fresh ingredients and keep the processed stuff on the down low, a very, very low amount. So, I basically grabbed that can of whole tomatoes just to add to the sauce, because there's sauce in that can. And I'm going to crush up the tomatoes to go with the sauce. But I have a whole head of garlic, and I have some shallots and also some onion that we're going to be putting in our chili tonight. By the way, that is a shallot. It's in the onion family, and it's a very like a hearty oniony taste. I use this in my chutneys a lot when I'm cooking my pork chops and stuff like that, or pork loin for chutney sauce. But this is a shallot, and I use those a lot in my chili. I'm going to use a whole shallot. Not to be confused with, stewed potato or onions. Those are the tiny white onions. They're like tiny. These are shallots, okay? And then I've got a head of garlic, which I'm going to be using a half of this. The half of this. I'm going to crush the garlic cloves, a half of the head, and stick it in here. I'm not going to cut them up or dice them or nothing. I'm just going to crush them. And then an organic Vidalia onion. That's what I'm using. Alright, so, I would point you down here because all these ingredients look so good together. Let's see. See? Oh, I got scissors mixed in there somewhere. But see all the pretty colors, and these are our seasonings. And it's going to be really, really good. So, alright, we are just about ready to start mixing all of this in. Okay. I'm going to stir up my beans. Alright, and now that I've gotten some of these beans, have soaked up some of this water, I'm going to move them over here and let them sit. And then I'm going to drain them. Alright. So, what I want to add first to my meat, I'm going to turn it down on a 4, because I want it on a medium-low heat. First of all, I'm going to add my salt. Okay, and that's it from there, because I have some salt here, and I'm going to put the rest of that in pinch by pinch in my mixture as I'm cooking it, okay? So I'm mainly just going ahead and cutting down some of the big pieces of meat that are in here and just getting some of that flan of the meat, you know, which is the fat off the meat off the bottom of the pan. Just remember that adds to the flavor. So now the next thing I'm going to put in here is my green onions, and I'm going to add all of this to the meat, and I'm going to add this later on once all this stuff is married together, and then I'm going to let it sit for a little while, and then it'll be good to serve. So we are going to start with our green onion. Let me get a knife real quick. Now y'all seen my smaller teafowl, but this is my bigger one. And I got this at Kroger. So I'm going to start off right here. I'm going to peel away this dead stuff. So I'm just going to cut it down just so I can peel it off. I don't want to hurt the stalk down there. So it's just like I showed you before on the last show when we were pan searing the steaks. You take the deadness off and just pull it off, and it pulls off. It reveals the fresh part of that green onion. So from about here, I'm gonna use this. Okay.
You don't trust me to be alone with my own grandbaby. Of course we do.
But first, I'm gonna peel all this deadness off of here. See?
Back when you were in diapers, you were backstage at every single show. You think that did her any harm?
All the books say that a strict routine is crucial. So we just want to be there when you're with us.
Sorry.
Until it gets regulated.
No, I'm leaving tomorrow, baby.
This one's giving me a ton.
Right,
It's not wanting to cooperate. I'm peeling off what I can of this one. Alright. That's what's making these together. So I'm going to just pull this off. And this will actually pull off nicely now. And you can just keep growing these out of, you know, one bushel. You can keep growing and growing what you want out of it, and just keep reusing the same bushel of white onions. I haven't had to buy white onions in almost 2 weeks now. Because, you know, I do cook other nights when I'm not recording on here. But,
Charges were eventually dropped still, right?
Well,
yeah.
Tony must be around here
So,
somewhere, right? Considering the storm system.
just trying to get all this deadness off. Oh, sometimes that pulls. See? You just want that fresh onion.
Going to North Carolina?
There's a lot of storms out here. I don't want her in this environment. I'm just trying to be protected. Of course, she's gonna think that I'm, overly protective. Aren't you?
Okay, look, I'm just saying, Dr. Brennan is
And it's okay if you turn your meat down and just let it simmer for a
Well, it's
bit.
understandable. Okay, we got to
It's actually really good that way because you're marinating.
There we go.
Okay, so I pulled this off, and I'm gonna try to pull this back in a way, and stick this back in the water because I've already got from here what I need. So I'm gonna stick that in the coffee cup. It also helps keep them growing too when you strip away the old. It's like when you have a house plant and you have to go through and pull the dead off of it to keep, it growing. And it just peels right off. Alright, so I peeled this away. It kind of snapped off. But if you look at here, there's new growth coming out of there. So I'm going to pull that away. Alright. And I'm going to stick it back in the cup with that so it'll kind of hang it off the side. And I don't want it drowned in the water because then it makes it all soggy and it's no good anymore. Alright. There's the same going on right here. I'm going to do the same with that one. by the time next week rolls around, those little tiny sprouts are going to be like this, ready to eat, ready to put in your recipes, ready to cook. Okay, so I'm going to pull some of these aside. And we're going to start cutting these. Remember, anytime you're cutting up anything, you want to keep your hand like this and away from the knife. You want to angle your knife that way. Like this. And they don't have to be uniform. Okay, all it's going to do is add to the color of the chili and the taste. That's basically what the purpose of these babies are. And for those of you that don't know, these are chives, or scallions. At the grocery store, they're called green onions. So that's what I call them. And you just keep chopping. Put this back in there. Well, no, this one I'm going to use the whole thing. Which is okay, because we like the white part too. There's just as much flavor in there as there is the green part. This one is done, however, and we're going to stick it back in the water so it can continue to grow us some green onions. We're going to throw these in.
Right, because it's always important to have FaceTime right before you're about to get blown to the side of the bar.
Alright, on to the next.
I tried. I met with him in Virginia last month during the storms there. He said he'd call me next time he went out.
And we don't really have to worry about how small or big these are. They can be big, small. It don't matter, because we're just going to add it to the chili. And it's going to be that really pretty green color to mix with all of these pretty red beans over here. So.
Oh, I don't get to spend much time with the actual chasers. I mostly just drive the film back and forth.
You're also a big fan.
I'm going to cut this.
You're wasting your time with us.
We're going to turn this one on too, as well. Stick that one back in there. This one we're going to cut on there. Stick it back in there. We got that. And this one, that's pretty self-explanatory. Alright. This one, we're going to finish this one off because it's going to be needing to be thrown out. It's over. And done with. Now, there will be times that you will have to go to the store and buy you another bushel of green onions. But yeah, it's been like 2 weeks since I bought this bushel, and this makes my 4th meal out of them. So yeah, I mean they're not very expensive, but still it saves you money at the store. And who could have thought that you could grow green onions in water on your windowsill or close to a window somewhere in your kitchen? A lot of people probably didn't know that, but now you do. Alright, so we're going to add all this in. Cut myself, so I'm moving this out of the way of the food. Okay, I'm back. We're at 24 minutes, and I had to doctor my thumb up because I cut it. It does happen, okay? Even the most
From a striped
experienced chefs, if you ever watch Iron Chef, you see people cut themselves on that show all the time. But this is what's always good to keep around your kitchen in case that happens. And just spray it off, put some gauze on it, put a big band-aid on it, and move on. Okay, so it's happened before. It's been a while since I cut myself, but I mean, it's bound determined to happen. I cook with y'all 3 days a week, so y'all might see me get cut sometimes. Alright, so we're down to our last green onion. I'm trying to keep my thumb out of the way here. I had to cleanse it and wash it and then put some ointment on it and put a band-aid on it. No, I don't need any stitches or nothing like that. Sometimes when you get cut by knives, depending how sharp they are and how deep you go down, you don't really need any stitches, thank God. So, okay, so we have cut up all of our green onions and they're in there. And I'm gonna go ahead and take this and stir them in. Some of that fat has gone away into the air, and there's some at the bottom of the pan. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna cut up some of our fresh ingredients. And this is the parsley. And I'm gonna cut about that much off. Okay, about that much. And I'm gonna add a little bit into the meat, and then once I add my beans, I'm gonna add more. So this is how we're gonna do this. We're gonna chop, just, you know, like a little chop. You don't wanna chop it down too fine. You do want this seen in your, it's so good. Parsley, when it's on your plate, it's not just for decoration, it's to eat afterwards to clean your palate. So if you ever go to a gourmet restaurant and they put that on your plate, it's to clean your palate after your dinner. It's like popping mint in your mouth, kinda. But I hate that I cut myself, but it happens. Move on. Alright, we're gonna add it. You wanna cut about like that. Just add it into your food, your meat. Meat. Alright, next up is our oregano. And there's a rubber band right here. I'm gonna take my rubber band and I'm gonna cut to about right there. Because I might want to use this in something else I cook this week or next week. And you just want to, just a light chop. Oh, it smells so good. Oregano is really good. And do you know if you take oregano oil, they have vitamins of oregano oil. It's so delicious. Yeah, you want to chop these up real good. We're fixing to stir all these seasonings up after I add the cilantro. And then we're going to add our garlic and our shallot, our onion, our tomatoes. Those will go in after the beans, okay? So we have a rubber band right here. We're going to put our hand right here and go about that much, okay? We're going to put this to the side. And with this, we are going to chop.
You need to calm down.
Okay. I mean, cilantro, sometimes you can make it real fine. I went to an Applebee's one time, and I can't remember where we were because we traveled all over the United States with my husband's old job. But I went to an Applebee's to have lunch, and I asked for freshly chopped parsley to put over my fried shrimp. And they brought it to me in a paste, in a tube. I was highly disappointed. Because there's just nothing like fresh chopped cilantro. I use a lot of this in my fish recipes, chicken, call it the white meat seasoning. But like I said again, if you go to a Mexican restaurant and you ask for for their homemade their salsa, that green stuff is cilantro. That's what you are tasting in there. And it's really good and flavorful. I like putting it cutting up an avocado and putting lemon and lime on it, and cutting me up some fresh cilantro and sprinkling it over it with a little bit of salt. So good. Make sure I get this off my knife. My nails are sharp. There's proof. But alright. We're scraping the flan off the bottom because, like I said, it's been sitting for a bit so that I could doctor my thumb. I didn't want to put any blood in the food. So that's good and stirred up. We got all of our fresh ingredients in there, along with the meat. The only thing that's in this meat that's liquid right now is the bottom, where there's a little bit of fat in there that I decided to keep. Okay, so I'm going to reduce this down to warm, and it's going to be that way until I add my beans. Okay, once I add my beans, I'm going to cover this up and step away, and I'm going to pause the video, and then I'll play it back again when you see the finished product. Okay, but right now we're going to take this shallot and we are going to leave the hinge on it, which is what that is, and cut the bottom. We are going to get all of this shell off the outside. I like to take it and cut a little slit down the side like that, and then just work my way around that off of the shallot.
It's a press on for now. Okay.
Now I'm just working away the shell that's keeping these two halves together. See? Alright. Pull one away.
Hey. How did it go? You didn't even lawyer up.
Alright, I'm going to take this one and I'm going to cut like that. And I want to keep them like that, but I want to separate them and throw them in there, okay? So I'm going to separate, leave these little ones, these insides whole.
Does that mean that you're not going to hover over me?
And I'm going to do about that thin. Because when your family's biting into it, you don't want it to be too overpowering. You want it just to be the right amount of flavor.
So basically, you're asking me to support your delusion.
Yes. Gone.
That's crazy.
Alright, now, over the chili, I'm just going to separate these.
Supremely rational person.
You're like walking around these hardwood floors, bare feet. I mean, you can get a splinter. I'm gonna go get your slippers.
You're starting again.
I told you I wasn't gonna stop. You want the ones with the little bunny ears or the slipper socks?
No, I'm not going to wear them.
I'm not gonna pull a splinter out of your feet.
I don't have a splinter.
You will. You will.
No, I won't.
Yes, you will.
They're married?
They're living together right now, baby girl.
Alright.
Why?
You'll have to cut this end off because there's part of that hinge on there that we don't want in the food. And we're just taking these apart. It's going to make it really flavorful and really pretty too. A lot of times people come over here and then we say we're having chili, they expect this thick, and then they get it and they're like, wow, this is a little strange, but then they eat it and they love it. It's delicious. It's all fresh ingredients. We are using a whole shallot.
No, Lincoln did not do his homework on the back of a shovel with a lump of coal. No, he did not walk a mile.
Alright.
Oh dear God.
Now, of course, after I do this, I'll retake this off and wash it and put more ointment on it and put a better dressing on it. Because it did cut me and I was bleeding. but it happens. It's
Well,
okay.
we're running out of time here. Jose,
You start cooking like this where you have to use knives a lot, you're gonna
there's
cut
the
yourself.
simple
It's
solution.
just unavoidable.
No. I need a man cave.
Then I need an anthropologist.
Alright,
Right, so we
so
need
we're
a
gonna
man
stir
cave,
this in.
rotated, and a perfect baby shrink that least saved our land. I wonder which came first.
So good.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Whoa,
so-
what? You alright?
well, she just kicked.
Now we are going to cut this end off
Check the listings.
I'm looking.
right here,
Make sure
the
we didn't
hinge.
miss anything.
I actually think the Vatican was in on the Lincoln assassination.
Oh,
They hated Lincoln because he defended a former priest against the Bishop of Chicago.
let me get some of this shell off here. It's not wanting to go through. Oh,
I think it came from him.
there's already a clove cut off there.
Look, all I'm saying is that John Holmes Booth was secretly a member of the Knights of the
You'll
Golden
find that
Circle
when you
until
start
he was
doing that, that the cloves sometimes will just come off and sometimes they won't, and you have to cut it all the way through. But all I need is like half a head.
Alright.
And these are some really
Feel
big
about the message in
cloves.
Where's the rest of me?
Well, I assume he's referring to the rest of the remains, because
Lincoln seems intact.
do we have a time of death yet, Dr. Hudgens?
Well, according to the
You want some of those inside
orbital sockets,
cloves too. There's a lot of flavor in those. You want to try to cut what you... It's amazing. It's sliced right
There is something
through my
very
hand,
strange about this.
but it won't cut through this time. I'm gonna put that in there. Alright, so I'm gonna use this one. All this, it's a half a head. I'm gonna put it away.
Is that a big deal?
It means detaching all the intersegmental ligaments, the
I have a
anterior
spice
and
rack over here
posterior
that's a basket.
longitudinal ligaments,
One
and
day I'll show it to you, and I keep my butter in there,
as
and I
mentioned,
keep my
somehow
cloves and my onions, and of course I wrap my onions up and all this off here.
He's sending us a message.
Okay, now, like I said before, I'm just crushing the cloves. I'm not gonna cut them up or nothing, because remember, when you cut, the more you cut up the garlic cloves, the more that renders, the less that renders into your food while everything's cooking. So you want to just crush it when you're making chili, and just peel off. Like I said, this is a half a head of garlic, not a half a clove, a half a head. These individual little pods are cloves, but just want to smash it. That way the oils are, coming out, and they're going to render nicely heated when it's in this pot, when everything starts marrying together.
Where's the rest of me?
Why are you looking at us like that, Mr. Bryce? Spit it out.
Hopefully when I come to y'all Sunday, I'll be able to use my thumb.
And
Let's see.
The blood at the scene isn't from the victim. It's from 5 other people.
5 different
If I
people.
worked in a restaurant, I'd have a box of
call
gloves,
trouble-weeding DNA
and,
tag
aside
priority
to
and
wear
history
just for
department
that
remain.
very thing. But this isn't a restaurant, it's my kitchen.
Exterminators treated the museum
Which
last
wouldn't be
night.
a bad thing to have around here,
Killer
as much as I
later
cook.
pointed to burn out the image from one of the security cameras. See that? The camera goes out there at 5
Okay, so that
Okay,
one is
so the killer
completely bare.
leaves the remains, writes the
But
message.
you always just want to stick
Gets out
the
before
flesh in
anyone
there and
can
try to
spot.
keep all the
one confirmed dead. What, 5 babies?
the shell out of your
His
food, because
facing
it doesn't
an
taste very
iconic
good.
American figure suggests that he craves attention, right? And he demands we engage by
Sometimes you
posing
gotta
two
cut the
mysteries.
end off, and that'll help peel it
Whereas the rest
nicely.
of make it a more private mystery for us, the reordered spine.
Well, if he has something to say, why doesn't he just say it?
Because this
It
way
just
he's
comes right
forcing
off.
us down the path he wants us to go. It's very manipulative, meaning high IQ, which is consistent with the fact that he was able to dissect the spine.
Which tells us he's comfortable killing people.
Yeah, practice makes perfect. It's likely
Sometimes
that he has
smashing
prior
it a little
offenses.
bit further will get it off too.
Yeah. You got a name? Right. Great, thanks.
Okay,
So, one of the guys...
so we got 4 more.
Okay, that's C1 vertebrae.
Smash
C9,
these.
C5, and 1, but with both transverse processes removed. Why are we writing all this down
This
again?
one can just be
Because the
thrown in
killer
there.
did not reorder 24 articulating vertebrae.
Now, I've heard that they have those
That makes this some
crushers,
kind of cipher, which means
and I
need
think
the
I
order
will
written down before you go running the
invest in
longest
one of
to watch,
those
like,
one day.
Okay, continuing. T7.
I'm
telling
gonna
me
cut
my
the end off
grandfather
this
would
one.
expect me to know what to do. Ever tell you that he was a codebreaker back in World War II? Huh? Worked for Admiral Nimitz?
Mine worked for Colonel Chicken. Before his kind of military, he had a uniform.
Okay. That's crushed.
C4 also has the
I'm
right
gonna get the shell off this one.
It's something. We'll just have to figure out what.
Garlic has really good properties too. It also helps with bad breath. I cook with it in almost all of my recipes. And then there is other things too. It keeps your body from like parasites entering into it. It keeps them from being able to grow, like worms and stuff like that. So, you know, if you have kids, you always have to worry about having pinworms or something like that. That's could be something that you're going to think about putting in your food, because it'll keep, for some reason, it repels parasites like that in your intestinal tract. Alright, so we've cut up everything else. Now we're going for the onion. We have our garlic in there, half clove. I think I cut way too much off the end here. So I'm gonna go through. I'm just gonna slice this off right here. All I want to use that. It just peels right off. Now we do want rainbow shaped cuts out of this onion. We're going to use an entire onion. So with it still on its face like this, I'm going to use the bottom, and I'm just going to slice. It's just the end. Right.
Smelling good, baby.
Oh, I'm glad you like it smell. The hinge is still on there for the top part. We're just gonna, I'll call it like a rainbow shape. Like I said, I want this to be very flavorful. When you cut your onions into cubes, that's if you want a very light onion taste in your food. You don't want a very light onion taste in chili, because you want a hearty taste in your chili. So I'm gonna go ahead and slice this one down. Cutting the hinge off, which is usually the part I tell you to always keep. But we're not dicing our onion tonight. We are going to cut it in like an umbrella shape. We want a lot of flavor in our chili. So we are going to use a whole onion, half a head of garlic, and I'm going to take this and cut it in half. Okay? Now on the side, I'm going to angle my knife. And I'm going to just start cutting at an angle, just like that, okay? Like a rainbow or half moon. Alright, move this aside. We're going to do it to this side as well, because we are using this whole onion. This whole onion. Sometimes I like to throw that in there for seasoning. But we're going to take these apart, and we're just going to start putting them in there. And it's okay if it's big, because you're cooking a chili, and chili, you know, does well when you have a lot of ingredients in it. Go sit down with Daddy. Mama's cooking and doing this video.
Wait, what do I help you with, Matt?
I don't need your help right now. I need you to go sit down.
No.
This is Charlotte, by the
What do I
way.
help when you introduce me to that?
I want you to go sit down, please.
Right, come here.
So, I'm just going to go ahead and finish putting all this in. Even these big pieces like this. And when you ever see that inside of the onion that's like green, that's really flavorful, by the way. You want that in your food. So, I'm almost done. And I'm gonna go ahead and that's about how you want it. Okay. Now we are about to add, cut up our tomatoes, and then we're gonna add our tomato, our crushed up tomatoes that I gotta crush up and everything. But this is for the fresh ingredients. I just 3 tomatoes. Let's peel off these stickers because we don't want this in our food. I don't understand why they put these stickers all over these things, because sometimes it peels the skin right off the tomato, and I don't want that right now. I don't want that. I want skin on my tomato.
Also variable versus okay. Here's one that's in our price range. Adorable fixer-upper with natural instincts.
All right.
That means a small house with
We're gonna cut this off.
Look, the blood with the seam clearly indicates
Discard it.
targeting the FBI.
All right. Now I'm going to start slicing.
A shack with purple walls, cracked linoleum.
You don't want to cut all the way down,
Given your
because I'm gonna
It's a positive adjective.
cut these into cubes.
I understand. You're under a lot of pressure.
All right. You want it kind of like that, still together. Then you want to spin it around, and you want to cut all the way.
Asian schools for lunch. They're all alive.
Did you figure out how?
You want to do it as much as you can, okay? You don't have to dice all the way through. And then put it on its side.
He wants us to acknowledge how smart.
And
I'm not going out.
Wait.
okay.
Seriously? You were listening?
Given the demands of a growing dish.
Just try to cut around. You know where you see there's squares at. That's gone. And
I don't even know what we're looking for. Is the message numbers or words?
now we're going to try to do this side.
It could be a government thing. The recovery's gonna be huge. Just you can't disappoint my grandfather. Okay, alright. What about the total number of characters? Does that help any?
There's 48 total if you count letters, numbers, words, and 13 if you don't. So what has 13 digits?
ISBN number.
Sit down, Charlotte.
It's a book.
And you want to be very careful that you don't try to cut yourself. God knows. I hate for y'all to get mad at me because y'all keep cutting yourselves with your knives. But,
Still next to that.
Hello, honey, do you hear me?
it's done. Take his hands and handfuls of your tomatoes. This is the third and the very last one. We're going to do the same thing. Not all the way through, but just down enough.
Please tell me you found the killer's driver's license and a complete set of prints.
No. But I did find this.
Great. These minty fresh, good to know.
These tomatoes are very soft, so, but they're still good and fresh. Believe me, you'll know if they're bad because they'll be like mold and stuff inside of them. And you'll see that the outside of the skin is soft too. So there, we are finished with that. We are going to stir it up. Make sure all of it stays in our pot. Now we haven't even added the seasoning, like the sauce out of the can or anything. This is just our rough ingredients, okay? I'm going to take what's left in there, this salt, and I'm going to dump it. If I can.
According to the isotope profile from her tooth and navel,
That's all we're going to do. I'm going to go wash my hands.
have Angela forward the facial inspection. Meanwhile, we assist in determining the cause of death.
Hi, today you're watching Charlotte's cooking show. I'm Charlotte. I'm Shannon's daughter. I hope you love her videos because I'm Shannon.
I I need you to go. I need you to go, please. I got trying to finish this up.
Yeah,
Okay,
kitchen step.
so
Kitchen right now.
what we're gonna do
Let's
now
go.
is I'm gonna take this and put it
One,
in the sink because I don't
two.
need it anymore. So here we go.
Whoa, they reduced it by how much? Okay, yeah, to be fair,
All
it's 7
right.
length fast. Possible house?
There we go.
Perfect.
Alright, now it's just like goes back to what I said before. You always want to keep your station clean when you're cooking. Alright, so what we're going to go ahead and do is I'm going to start cutting these up, cutting these cans off. Once I add all this together, I'm going to turn the heat up to 7 now, which is like a medium high heat, and try to get all this stuff cooking. I'm going to add this and this. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to take our can and hold the top and just pour that tomato in there. That's tomato juice, 100% tomato juice. We know that stuff that V8's made out of. I'm going to make sure we get all that out of there, and it's just whole tomatoes.
That's a coincidence? 481 is the Justice Department's
Okay.
own prefix.
Now we're going to pour this whole can of Bush's chili and kidney bean with mild chili sauce.
C4 was only broken on the right side. What if that's the force? What if we're only supposed to read it?
Mommy.
Go see Daddy.
Come here, Charlotte.
Go see Daddy. So baby, I'm trying to finish this video. So sorry. But anyhow, so what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to get these tomatoes out of this can. And
Come here.
this is what you'll have
As long as you don't have video, we'll cut it out.
right here. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna crush these with my hands. Okay. We're not gonna cut these up. We're gonna crush them. It's kind of fun. All the juice is still in there. I use it for the juice out of the can. And it adds a little bit of texture to your chili and taste. That juice goes in there, and that's going to add to our flavor and some of the chunks of tomato. Such a fun sound, isn't it? And it's okay if it's like that. Like I said, the chunkier your chili is, the better. And that's even better when you can tell people that it's fresh ingredients. These are real tomatoes, they're just peeled. See?
I think I found some blood.
And you're squeezing tomato juice in your chili. You want to use the whole can. I think there's probably about 6 little of those tiny Roman tomatoes in one of these big cans. Peeled tomatoes in tomato juice. And if you look at the ingredients, there's a thing on here on how to make creamy vodka sauce. But if you look at your ingredients, it says tomatoes and tomato juice, salt, and calcium and citric acid. All natural ingredients. So we're still keeping it within our guidelines of eating clean. So now you got you a little bit of a broth going in there. Here in a minute, I'm going to add a stick of butter.
U.S. Marshals auction. We got everything. Boats, cars. My bad.
First, I'm going to get a clean rag with cleaner on it and wipe all this down.
Chill out, Charlotte.
Colin Freakley. Daniel Sudo. Wait, Sudo. He's a confidential informant. We'll check out. Gino Nicoletta. Jimmy Valentine. These are all FBI informants. Yeah, there's about 20 of these. Like someone decided not to prosecute their crime. Maybe headquarters just like small stuff, but it's all the bigger crimes. No, this isn't small stuff. These are
Alright, we got us a little bit of Lysol. Pour it on this rag, and we're going to wipe around everywhere that that juice flowing at. We don't want a dirty surface while we're cooking. Okay. I just walked into somebody's house and they never clean the surfaces. So dangerous to cook that way. You always want to make sure that your surfaces, especially when you're cooking, are clean.
There's damage to the inside of the front and back ribs.
I'm gonna get rid of this slice and dicer.
Hardly saying that because we had evidence to arrest you. My source reports arrested using
Oh, another thing, I want to make sure you put your fresh herbs back in the green bag that you get from your produce section. That'll keep them fresh while they sit in the crisper. I don't sit mine in the crisper. I keep them out when I keep an eye on them. When you're in a crisper, then they could go bad before you know it.
Charlie.
You don't know because you're not looking, because it's not in your sight.
Do you have any sprinkly goodness to sprinkle on that?
Oh, so smells so good. Let me try it. I'm just gonna try that.
So we covered a skeleton in
Already
processed meat, sewage, soft
fresh.
tissue, and wet soup.
I can just tell that everything that's coming out of this is fresh. Fresh ingredients, fresh seasonings, onions, scallions, half of a head of garlic. The only thing that I've put in here so far that's not, fresh was the salt. Don't really feel like I need to put anything else in there, but I'm gonna put some butter in there. That's going in there now.
Fire in the bones!
A whole stick.
4, 3, 2, 1.
And we're gonna kind of fold it in. Not stir it, but we're gonna fold it. And it's so hot that it's already coming apart. But we're gonna stir it in, or fold it in. Now, with the chili powder, you just want to lightly coat. See how dark that got? That's all you need. I'm gonna put this away. Your paprika. That, remember, brings that smoky flavor. Just cover the top. See?
I can't believe people finally want to talk about Daniel Casuto.
That pseudo defrauded.
Oh, I know it.
And your basil.
Pension, life insurance, everything.
Now, with your basil, I want to take the top off. Or your hand. And just squeeze. Because this is dehydrated. You squeeze it to activate. You want 10 pinches. Remember the pinches? 3, 4, 5. I did 2 of those over the top.
I saw the top of his head.
And you stir.
You didn't prosecute Casuto because he works for you.
Now, you see how the broth is in there.
What do you think I did that?
The broth came from the fat from your meat, which is a roux. Okay? Like roux are how you make gravies and stuff like that for Thanksgiving or whatever you're cooking. So it's the roux from our hamburger meat, which was 80-20. And then we crushed the tomatoes, the peeled tomatoes that came out of that can. On the can it said tomato juice and tomatoes and citric acid. And I think there was one more vitamin, like a vitamin C or something in there. But that's in there. And then the juice from our 1 can of chili sauce and kidney beans with pinto beans. The rest of the stuff is salt, fresh Italian parsley herbs, cilantro, and fresh oregano. Like the herbs, like, straight off the vine. So that is marrying well. If you didn't put your beans in there right now, it would be perfect. But don't forget, our beans are right here and they need to be drained. So we're going to do that.
In the middle of an investigation. When do you have time to get a house? Let's just say your best bud gave me the idea. Oh, seriously, the option.
I'm going to drain these.
You can find this. It's plenty of this.
Stir them in. That looks like a lot, doesn't it?
Based on the tissue in the
We're going to fold these in. We're not stirring them. We're folding them in.
Really?
Yeah. Thing is, the owner, has a little bit of a questionable history.
Alright. We're fixing to add a half a cup of water.
Oh, so the firing home of a convicted criminal?
Yeah, you're right. I get it. That's no place for it.
Why? When the Danny
Well, actually, that's a whole cup.
the Danny values the cuts of their vanquished enemy as symbols
Want
of
to
their
start?
Right, so the crook who lived in the hut that I found is like our vanquished enemy.
His hut would be a symbol for it?
But you know, huh?
Yeah. So it's not actually
Special parts.
We're going to discard what's left. That was a lot. And that's the sauce that comes from those beans. It's in your chili now. It's going to add the flavor.
A, B, C, D, F, U, every
Now, I'm going to put the top on this. I'm going to turn it down to simmer to low heat. And here in a minute, I'm going to turn this video back on and I'll show you the finished product before we serve it up. Turn it down to warm. We'll see you in a bit. Okay, we are done now. This has been simmering on low heat for about 5 minutes, and then 5 minutes after that I turned it up to 5, which is a medium low heat. And this is...
You can too. Look at you. You are a big girl now. That's okay, sweetie. It's okay.
And it is all ready to be put into bowls.
Ice cream as you want.
And I'm going to do that right now.
And okay. That's good. Daddy's gonna stay right here. Brave girl. Everything's gonna be just fine, I promise.
Go and get my big spoon. And now I'm going to turn it on low because it's got a pretty high, a lot of bubbles going on. So I'm going to turn it on low and then I'm going to put these up in these bowls for us and that's going to be done.
Maternity facilities are number one in all categories, including the incidence of staph infection.
Great hospital. Okay, they got
All right, we're going to spoon it up.
lactation specialist in the world. She's so good, but she's teaching how to
Oh,
lactate.
look at the greens in there, the onions,
Catholic hospital very clear.
Catholic has nothing to do with it, okay? It's just an outstanding hospital, right?
tomatoes. All of these good seasonings that are going in here, and the beans are soft, and this is what it looks like. And it's really good, and it's really fresh, and it's really good for you, and there's nothing processed. All of it's made out of what I showed you. I showed you the ingredients on the cans. I only used 2 canfuls of stuff in this. The beans came in a bag, It smells delicious, and my family's really going to enjoy it. So happy September the 30th. Remember, if you have Disney Plus, don't forget to watch Hocus Pocus 2. It's the only place you can watch it on tonight, or today. So hope you enjoy your night and have a great weekend. See you Sunday. This is Shannon with Shannon's Kitchen. If you like my channel, please subscribe and hit the like bell icon, so they'll help with YouTube's algorithms. If you want to see more of my channels, like and subscribe. More of my channels, like and subscribe. Have a great weekend. See you Sunday night.